This is Cybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Tournament Apocalypse, and this is 1.03, the community patch, not 1.02 plus, so we're going to be taking a look at a slightly different version of Kane's Wrath today as the Cyan Traveler 59. On the left, this is WarMonk. And as the red nod on the right, this is FireStorm. Traveler 59 versus Nod, but I was most excited about this being on Tournament Apocalypse. This is a map that I've really only seen once in a competitive type game. Double Militants do get the kill on that Descent. But, oh, okay, there's actually a growth accelerator on the blue field? That's kind of crazy. Is there no range for growth accelerators? You can just place them wherever you want? That's really weird that there's one on the screen side and not on the other side. And also, I didn't know that you could just build a growth accelerator wherever. So, that's something. For sure. I've seen one game on this, and it was Shock Trepid versus Bike Rush in Tiberium Wars. So it wasn't actually even a Kane's Wrath game. Sparty and I casted the finals of the Tib Wars Catalytic Championship, and this was one of the maps that was played. A couple of bikes are here. FireStorm trying to kill one Harvester. Those Militants actually adding a little bit of DPS, but the repair is just a little bit too strong, and so that bike will not get the kill. One more bike would have done it, or perhaps an additional Militant squad. That Harvester got extremely low on health, but eventually everything from the Nod player does get cleaned up. And this is such a good plan. I didn't even realize that that was something that you could do, but, you know, at the very beginning of the game, but he did manage to do it, and now that Harvester is going to go and benefit from that. Crane coming up from WarMonk. FireStorm already on the low ground harvesting that green Tiberium. And by the way, big thanks to the folks who support the channel over on Patreon. Oz Media, Mediastorm, Deadly Shadow, Anoxic, Spud, and TheArbiter, as well as some of the newcomers over there, Razor C, Whimsiest, Tomcat, Lieutenant Victor, and Schneefernenkoff, which is a name that I'm not familiar with. Nerve Center and a refinery on the low ground for WarMonk, and this does get spotted by the Militants of FireStorm, so he does have an idea of what is on the way. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with 1.03, well, way back in the day, the developers of Kane's Wrath were only allotted enough time to really get out 2 patches for the game post-release. And as everyone knows, 2 patches is not enough for a competitive game. So the community took over with 1.02 plus, which was aiming to just fix bugs that existed in the game. 1.03 arose from much of the same team that made 1.02 plus, and focused a little bit more on balance changes rather than just pure bug fixes. First Harvester to go down. FireStorm really committing to this aggression. An additional Harvester is here getting targeted down, but most of the bikes have already been eliminated, so the buggies don't have much hope of killing off that Harvester with the repairs right there. Dev tanks being added on. WarMonk bringing the defense. He only loses 1 Harvester, and he was a little bit slower on the uptick, but he's hoping that long-term this blue Tiberium strategy will pay off, and it is something that certainly is long-term focused. Good number of bikes here. The focus firing maybe could be a little bit better, but I think WarMonk is just about to be overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. The buggy's absorbing a decent number of shots there, and WarMonk's dev tank falls, but he's got another one backing up into the Tib field, and a second dev tank as well, so this attack will be pushed away. FireStorm, is he going to be going for a quick 3rd expansion? No, instead he's teching up on 2 bases. Very respectable build coming out here from FireStorm. He's not going fast tech. He's not going anything too rash or risky. And he does now spot the growth accelerator, so I think he will take that down. Actually forces the sell-off there. And unfortunately for WarMonk, okay, no, he did pause to phase that Harvester, so the Harvester will survive basically any attack that comes at it. Another dev tank kind of caught out. This might be too much bike buggy for it, and he does get one bike and do some damage to the other bikes and buggies. But WarMonk is going to have to amp up his defense if he wants to stop FireStorm from getting through with attacks like this. There are enough descents here that they can push the bikes away, and the bike's not able to finish off these Harvesters, so one Harvester extremely low on health, but it does still survive. Another Harvester getting targeted down, and finally, a second Harvester does go down, and a third will be eliminated before the descents clean up FireStorm's forces. FireStorm bringing the pain with these small attacks, but I worry about FireStorm's ability to weather the night, as Traveler 59 is now pretty much full power. He's got lots of Tiberium left, still half of a green Tiberium field. He's got tripods coming out, and this is 2 refineries which are quite close together, but only one actually goes down there. So I think the 1.03 Catalyst Missile Radius has been reduced so much that I guess you can't even go for 2. I thought with this close of placement that you would have been able to have gone for 2 refineries with that one click, but he just gets the one. The Harvester survives for the moment for now. Area Mind Control capturing a couple of those. Actually, maybe it's Area EMP from that Prodigy, and he shuts down 3 avatars, but there are still enough defenses here from FireStorm to hold this off. And the Area Mind Control excludes high-tech and flying units. Okay, so that's one of the changes to this game. Prodigy blinks forward, grabs an avatar. The MCV repositioning here in the south for the third, and FireStorm has got the double barracks here as well. This avatar just absorbing a lot of damage from FireStorm's forces, allowing these tripods some additional time, but really they were just trading against militants, so that's not some kind of amazing play. They're trading against the militants. Cultists are now out. WarMonk committing fully to the practicality of the mind control. I mean, everyone hates playing against mind control, but it's hard to argue with mind control. Ooh, a Storm Column just getting established there, but it's hard to argue against using mind control when you're playing Traveler 59. The Cultists and the Prodigy can be so incredibly powerful, but this is a ton of militants. FireStorm is ready for this. He's going to target down those Cultists extremely quickly. The Descents are not here, and there's the EMP locking down 2 more avatars, but a fresh avatar stomping its way to the front line, and this 1.03 battle is looking a bit different from classic 1.02 plus. One of the biggest differences is the de-emphasis on epic units, which is why we're seeing so many big walkers and not just a push towards the Redeemer and the Eradicator Hexapod. 3 tripods remain. WarMonk is going to have to come up with something better to be able to stop this army. 5 avatars do get sandwiched there with that EMP, that area mind control, taking over a couple of rocket squads. And as soon as these avatars come back online, the tripods may be short-lived. But there's another mind control as WarMonk is just utilizing as few units as he possibly can to distract his opponent. FireStorm losing avatar after avatar. He's got the engineers here on the front line, the buzzers slowly but surely trying to chew their way through this Nod infantry, and the engineers getting area mind controlled there, and they will be targeted down by the forces of our Nod player. And unfortunately for FireStorm, he just was not able to break the front line of WarMonk. That mind control too powerful, that EMP shutting down too many avatars, and unfortunately for FireStorm, he just did not have enough infantry to power through the forces of WarMonk. The fight for the third field has begun. Tip Vapor Bomb perhaps getting called in here by FireStorm, and there's the blink away. These tripods avoiding damage to the highest degree, and the tripods still standing strong. The EMP coming in here. I think that was a Vertigo bomber finally landing a shot or something. I'm not sure what that was. Another blink forward as this Prodigy just will not be stopped. The Militant squads are not strong enough to kill that Prodigy quickly. Venoms or something else is needed to annihilate that Prodigy. Husk after Husk getting targeted down, but some being reclaimed. Another blink forward by the Prodigy. No more mind control for the current moment, but he grabs another Avatar, and this one Prodigy winning the game for WarMonk in this extended battle on the front line of the third base for these guys. Still no Venoms, still no aircraft from FireStorm, which feels like a bit of a mistake here. Just lots of Militants, and he's finally got some EMPs as the Militants are resurrected as awakened squads. Here to stay and here to bring the EMP to the screen. Buzzer Hive after Buzzer Hive, keeping the infantry units at bay and allowing that Prodigy to do so much more than it otherwise would have. A planetary assault carrier shows up. Another area mind control laying waste to the rapidly reduced infantry forces of FireStorm. He's gone like double or triple barracks for a long time, just pumping out militant after militant, but no aircraft from FireStorm. Fresh pack onto the front lines as WarStorm is looking to hold the line right here against this high-tech Nod army. Gunwalkers trying to cut through just so many infantry forces, and a Shredder turret gets deployed against a pack. I'm not exactly sure why. Rocket squads onto the front line as another Avatar gets mind-controlled. Another Avatar turns against FireStorm, and FireStorm has to be running out of steam here. I think the defense of WarMonk has just been too good. The mind control of WarMonk has just been too good. A Buzzer Hive on the high ground, too difficult to deal with. And the planetary assault carrier drones finally being dealt with, but a fresh planetary assault carrier spawning into the map. The Avatars slowly but surely moving forward. There's still 5 or 6 of them on the front line. The added disruption tower is a great choice here as the Black Hand squad turns on its allies. Even Shadow Team's coming in. FireStorm calling in every unit that he can just about, except for Venoms, to try and deal with this. He does lose the Shadow Teams to some buzzers, and the Prodigy still survives. The area mind control locking down 2 more Avatars as a third falls to the firepower of this scrim player. 3 Avatars right there on the front line. The planetary assault carriers have not been dealt with. No engineers just yet from WarMonk to capture those husks. Rocket squads being the new unit of choice, and FireStorm trying to burn down those husks so they can't be captured. A tripod and an Avatar on the ramp trying to fight against this infinite infantry horde of FireStorm. He wasn't finding success with the high-tech units, but this one Prodigy continuing to just be an absolute killer for WarMonk. 2 more Harvesters do go down. I'm not sure how many Harvesters WarMonk actually needs. The battle has cooled off just a little bit. A signal transmitter is here, so I guess we could be working towards a mothership, and that high ground is so unbelievably annoying. This is one of those games to learn from. If you're up against a scrim player, do not fight in this section of the map. It is just not worth it with all of this terrain that can be abused. I guess you probably want to take the fight to a little bit further south or further north. A couple of buggies are here. They might be able to chase down the Prodigy. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like 3 Venoms just suicide attack that Prodigy. It doesn't matter if the Venoms die. You just got to deal with that Prodigy. Gunwalkers and buzzers cutting through the Nod forces. An engineer gets sniped. Another engineer gets narrowly missed by that area mind control, but eliminated anyways. Husk after Husk going down. There are still 2 Husks remaining, and FireStorm has been unable to capture them. WarMonk just pushing it through with constant reinforcements of basically buzzers and gunwalkers. Now 2, 3 Avatars on the side of WarMonk, and a tripod that's being mind controlled, which means it was engineer captured. The Husk was engineer captured by FireStorm. Another Husk eliminated. Another Husk standing by for this Engineer to hop into. And now WarMonk is, I think, undefeatable. There's literally nothing left. Okay, FireStorm, unfortunately, losing his MCV there. Engineer grabs that Annihilator Tripod Husk, and, well, that's pretty much it for FireStorm. He's holding out for, I don't know what reason. He's sold off basically everything, and he's making one last assault with pure infantry forces. Area mind control absolutely destroying the front line of FireStorm, turning it into WarMonk's forces. Rocket Squad's coming on out. They are going to slowly chip away at this pack. Could just target down the buildings. Use the avatars to eliminate those refineries. But for now, the Rocket Squads are pushing back this army somewhat futilely. There isn't much hope of victory. The efforts, though futile, are admirable from FireStorm, who has had just a unbelievably difficult time breaking WarMonk. And now it's down to double barracks production. He's got no war factory. He's got no real comeback potential. He does have a tip spike as well, so he's got that extra bit of income. And, well, I guess he's just going to attack. He doesn't want to wait for the artillery to slowly chip him to death. The slow field comes in from WarMonk, and FireStorm is going to just die here. He does claim an avatar kill. He is going to be able to get a couple of avatars which are low health. The buzzers on the high ground not really able to get to most of these forces. I think they're slightly out of range there, as these rocket squads aren't being dealt with. No gunwalkers and no mass buzzer now, as the rockets of FireStorm are trying to make the comeback happen. He's going to be able to target down the signal transmitter. Most of the infrastructure down here in the south wasn't of much importance, but killing the refineries and killing the harvesters is definitely nice. Buzzers finally finding their way to the front line, and the Husks going to be annihilated there by FireStorm. He has pivoted quite nicely out of range of those buzzer hives, but this Rocket Squad army is going to be very difficult to make anything really happen with. He does have a heroic rocket squad somewhere in there, which is great. Always nice to have a bit of a militant rocket squad. Oh, those gunwalkers getting so much value, crushing so many rocket squads, and that is truly going to be the end. Even blinking a harvester away from somewhere to bring it back to the front. Okay, FireStorm is still producing stuff. He just lost his entire army, and he's still fighting it out for the apocalypse. I guess you just go a lot of rocket squads. Area mind control takes over a bunch of the militants and weakens the front line even more, just trying to target down rocket squads with the militants. Always a good plan there. GG gets called, and FireStorm has been defeated, so that is 1.03. A nice back and forth there from FireStorm and WarMonk. That unit graph is just off the charts for FireStorm. And of course, WarMonk, who ends up winning the game, has virtually no units. There might be a little bit of a glitch there because it's saying literally none, but obviously he had far fewer units than FireStorm, who was just bleeding out militants like it was his job. That'll do it for this game. 1.03, another take on trying to fix Kane's wrath and make it a more compelling competitive game. That'll do it for this game, and this is Cyber signing out.